Well, good afternoon. Good, maybe almost evening. It's still 3 hours time difference, so it's good late afternoon. You guys are in for a treat because we have Sean Maloney. I've been wanting him to actually do this demonstration and performance or whatever you'd like to call it, presentation, all wrapped up in one. Because everybody has in our company, if you go around and talk to any PA, we all have kind of like our one or two favorite models we like to play on a lot. And what I've noticed over the years, and not only our favorites, but every personal assistant has that one organ when they show off. They're just really good at that model. Like I have a model too that I'm really good at, and the Journey, for example, is not a model that I'm really good at. I know well enough, and so I'll go and find someone else for that. The Inspire happens to be one of those models that offers so many amazing sounds and features that, and I've seen Sean do his demonstration over the years and show it off, and he is by far one of my favorite demonstrators of the Inspire. And what you're going to hopefully see and hear today is the Inspire. What made the Inspire is you're going to notice first of all the size of the instrument is still in that nice sleek size category. And what made it very popular when it was introduced was they were able to pull some of the best sounds, the best features from the aria, the marquee, the way the operation of the instrument works. In fact, the last marquee aria class that I taught was on an instrument like that, and everything is just translates to those models very easily. So I'm not going to say much more because Sean is going to show you why that instrument is one of the most magnificent instruments around. So with that said, let's turn it over to Mr. Sean Maloney, everybody.
All
All
right,
right,
thank you.
thank you.
And I'll
And I'll
tell you why this is one of my favorites, and it's, like he said, we all have our favorites, and I think the biggest part for this one and a couple other instruments for me is comfortability. It's actually the most easy instrument to play. At Mesa here, where our store is, our location, we usually keep it at the very front of the store because it's so easy to just jump on, play some songs. People are walking around our mall here and go, wow, that sounds great. And I'm just playing with two fingers half the time. So let's just play a fun one to get started. This is one of my favorite rhythms because it features one of my favorite drummers in the song. So see if you can guess the drummer's name. All right, can anybody guess what the drummer's name who does that thumping kind of drum style? I'll tell you. Okay, his name is Gene Krupa. He was famous for playing with Benny Goodman's orchestra, who did that song "Sing, Sing, Sing." So super fun to play, really easy. What's great about a lot of these instruments, once you start getting into touch screen type things here, is not just easy to play, because that's obviously the best part of any Lowry is how easy it is to just sit down, touch two buttons, and play a song. But what's nice about this is now I have different options and kind of choices to sort of customize what I like to do. So rather than just touch a button and play, I touched a button in there that's called drum variation. And you might have heard that in some of the classes. And all that's doing is saying, fire my drummer, get me a new one. So in that rhythm, it has let's see. Let's just listen to that real quick. It's got this drummer here, and I'm going to hit the fill switch, and it's going to do a solo. Then if I hit drum variation, I fire that drummer and get a new one, which is Gene Krupa. So it's kind of cool. All I did is touch one button, and then I get a whole new drummer, and I can use that for any rhythm style I want. But that's what's nice. It's easy to use. So let's do some country music. I'm going to play one of my favorite rhythms in here. What's nice also when you get into a lot of the touchscreen style of instruments is they add a lot more of what are called signature styles. And if you don't know what that is, signature style, the definition is a style of music based on an original arrangement. So rather than just have, you know, polka or country, right on my screen here, when I touch the country button, I get a whole screen, and I'll talk about our touch screen in a little bit, but one of the rhythms in here is called Ring of Cash. And you can kind of guess what that might sound good with. Maybe Ring of Fire? Who does that song? You guys know? Oh, Johnny Cash, that's right. So let's hire Johnny Cash and his band to play Ring of Fire. A style based on original arrangement. It sounds just like the original song, didn't it? It had all the trumpets in the background. I wasn't playing that. That's the hard part of the song. I don't want to play that. Let them do it. So I just hit the fill switch with your foot, or on here, I also have what's called a touch bar. Does anybody know how to use a touch bar on an instrument? Oh, wait. I see a nod. Do you know how? Sue?
Yes,
Go ahead, Sue. How do you use a touch bar?
I press it.
You touch it. Exactly. If you want to use the touch bar, it's as easy as that. And what it does normally is it just does a fill for you. So if you're one of those who, when you're using your foot, it's going up and down and messing with the volume and you don't like that, well, just touch your touch bar, and it does it for you. So you can assign it to do different things. Like I said, with instruments like these, you can kind of customize anything you want and tell it what to do. Now let's talk about that for a second here. We have a touch screen. Actually, I forgot. I put this here for a reason, didn't I? I put a little TV so we can watch a movie. No, I'm joking. So you can kind of see what I have on this screen, a little bigger, a little easier to see on the video here. But as you see, you got a lot of different choices just put on the screen there for you. And what's nice is no matter what button you touch on the panel, it utilizes this screen here. So my touch screen, if I touch, what did I use before? I used standards to do that big band sound. And when I touch standards, I get not just a pianist or a guitarist or a full band, I get a whole page of different rhythm styles to use. Lots. And then what I do, I don't see what I want. I go next page on the bottom there. See that on the top here? It says next page, and I have a whole nother page of different rhythms. And if you have, I know some people on here have a fanfare or journey. I think nod your heads. I know Carol does. Bev, you have a journey. What's great is you don't lose anything. You have everything you already have with your full band pianist and guitarist. So on every screen here, full band is the top, pianist is right here, and guitarist is right there. So you still have those options. And all of these other ones all over the screen are bonus. So you have a lot of extra stuff in there. And let me see, I had a note there. Okay. And so what's great is I don't have to try to think of sort of the combinations anymore. What's in the guitarist? What's the, pianist version? They're just all on the screen. So what I did with that first one is I used a rhythm called Vegas Big Band. And here's another benefit of the screen. I'm probably going too much into this, but when I have a rhythm style that I like, and this is where you get into customizing. This is so fun. Carol, actually, you would love this kind of stuff. What you can do here is rather than have all those band members at the same time, here's what it sounded like before. It's a lot of stuff. What I can do is touch one button and see every different band member that's playing with me now. Rather than just one button that turns off all of them, I can say, I really like the piano, I don't want the strings, I just touch it, they go away. I just fired my string section. And if I want to fire the sax section, or fire the brass people, I don't even want a guitarist. This is so cool because you can take all those band members out and say, this is exactly what I want. And now, that rhythm that I had is very bare bones. I have kind of like a jazz band I get to play with now if I want to. So I took all those other band members out of there, and I had a nice little bare bones, just piano, bass, and drums. And it was a lot lighter. I can play kind of more my style, and I don't have to have all that bop, 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 bop in the background. So take advantage of these touch screens if you have them. I think a couple of you might on here. I see somebody has, I think, a Rhapsody, and somebody else has an Inspire in here, I believe. So if you have that, use it. Let's move on. Let's play some more songs. Let's see, what else did I write here? Oh, if you do like jazz music, you're going to find with the touchscreen instruments, you have every style of music times 1,000. So if I want jazz music, I could even play something like a waltz and kind of combine it here with jazz. So I can do a jazz waltz, which is something you didn't even know you needed until you hear it. And then you say, ooh, I want that. Because I know I do. But listen to this. This is great. Beautiful. I love that rhythm. Like I said, easy to play. I wasn't even thinking about doing that until I kind of saw it, and I said, I want to play jazz. I like that style. I used a special feature in there too. I don't know if you caught it, where I held one note down and it kept playing for me. This is cool. On these instruments you have, let me aim this down a little bit. When you want to use the fake it button, in a lot of the instruments you have to kind of tap out a rhythm with your right hand and try to sort of make a solo sort of sound. On here, what I did, let's go back to that rhythm real quick. Jazz waltz. All I do is I can just hold down one black key, and what it does is it plays a solo for you. All you have to do is hold it down and keep changing your chords here, and they'll play a little solo. So you have a soloist you could even hire. You can hire a solo musician to play with you. Love it. I use that all the time.
What models have that auto fake it? That's an auto fake it feature?
The auto fake it feature, a lot of the EY, the higher end EY, so I think it might start with the Journey and go to the Inspire, Rialto, Marquis, Grand Marquis, Aria, all of those high end ones, which are called the E technology when they have a touch screen here. And with that, you get my favorite features too with these types of instruments, and you can't quite see it, it's over here, but you have a little hole in it that's meant for one of these, if you can see it. Does that look familiar? It's called a USB, or I have some students that call it my SUB stick or BUS stick. USB. All I do is I put it in, and I can save my work if I want to. So if I did something and I like it, and I don't want to have to go through all the button pressing again, I save it to my USB, and it's there forever. Unless I change my mind, I could delete it. But, you know, you can save things to it. You could even take it to the store and say, hey, can you make a copy of this for me in case I lose it? I have a couple students that like to do that because that happens. You know, you might throw this in your pocket one day, run it through the wash. Uh-oh. So you can make a copy of it. It's harder with the discs to do stuff like that because a lot of places don't take discs, you know, or computers, I should say, now. But it's great. I can save my work, and even better, I can record. I have a whole recording studio right here. And the best part is the EY and EX series of instruments that you hear of. They have the most recent versions of these recording techniques here. They have what's called MP3 recording. So it's actually not just a Lowry file. A lot of the other instruments, the series before this, they would record what's called a Lowry file, where you can play it on the instrument, but that's it. Can't take it out, can't play it anywhere else. But this, if I record as an MP3 on my USB, I can just put it on my computer, email it to people, just attach it to an email like we do here. And I actually had a student who got, I think it was the Marquis, because just for that feature, because she said, I don't want to record a whole CD, or I don't want to record that much. I want to record one song for my daughter's birthday, and I just want to send it to her. And that's what's great. You can record it in 5 minutes if you don't make any mistakes, you know. Most people don't do that. So, yeah, so you can record on it and just email it. I see I have a question. I'll go ahead, Ronald, sir.
Sean.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you do a recording on the Inspire to the USB, can you convert that to a disc so that I could take it to our local music that store that has SUs and play the song I record on that?
If you recorded it on an Inspire?
You gotta say I had an Inspire and I put it on a USB. But in order to get that music to my lesson, they only have SU organs. I'd have to somehow transfer that over.
Yeah, you can't really transfer backward in
I could not take that.
No.
It would not be compatible then.
No. If you have discs that you have recordings on,
yeah,
you can transfer that to a USB. We have some people who might upgrade at some point and say, "Oh, what happens with all my discs?" You know, you can put all that on a USB and update it, but it can't go backwards because it's kind of like taking a, I don't know, like a Blu-ray and turning it into a VHS.
Okay.
I don't know. It just doesn't quite work.
However, if the organs have a CD player, you can convert it to an MP and inevitably onto a CD.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just couldn't run it back to the SU type system.
No, we
It
can't.
wouldn't work that
do
way.
that way.
Okay.
Nope.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, if anybody else has any questions, I don't mind questions. I'm super easy going with that kind of stuff. So. But let's keep going. I'm going to use the screen again here, and woo, and I'm going to touch one of my favorite buttons because I'm lazy and I don't want to do the work. It's called Song Setup, and most of you have that. What's nice about this one is, well, obviously you have hundreds and hundreds of song setups. I don't even have the number. I think it's 800 or more. It's if Robert, if you have that, let me know. But it's over almost 1,000 probably, I would guess. But a lot of songs. But what's nice is rather than have to scroll up and down through all of them, there's another feature on the touch screen called Keypad. So if I touch Keypad, there we go. It gives me an alphabet now, and this is different from the SU series. You do have a keypad on yours. It has numbers, and you can kind of do either on this. Numbers are for different instrument. There's a number that goes with each instrument. The alphabet, though, say I want to play a song like, and I have no idea how I would set this up, but something like The Lion Sleeps Tonight. That's a fun one to play. I have no idea what buttons over here I might press to find something to play that song. So I can use my song setups. If I go to the letter L, lion starts with an L. Oh, you can't see that, but it says it on the top there. L. And then I say, take me to my song setups. It takes me straight to the L's. So all I have to do is go up a couple times. Lion sleeps tonight. And this is a really fun rhythm to play, and you got a really cool fill in there where actually they hire the original opera singer to play with you here on this in the song here. So I forgot I had my accompaniment lock on, so I didn't change the background as much as I wanted. There we go. Thank you. I love that because I can't sing that high, you know. My voice doesn't quite go that high, so it's nice to have somebody in here who can do that for me. So moving on, a really, really advanced feature that they added to this instrument.
Real quick, Sean, your answer to your question is 600.
600, holy cow. That's a lot. 600 song setups, holy moly. And what they do with... let's see. They put this advanced feature on here that I just love. This came out on the Liberty, if you've heard of that. That was the $75,000 instrument of the time, the high-end one, just not too long ago, actually. And there is a new feature they added, which is very advanced but very easy. And it's called MCS Plus. Most of you at this point might have heard of that button MCS. You kind of know what it does? Yeah? All it's doing, MCS, is... I'll just turn everything else off for a second here. Maybe just put on some music. Nostalgic's fine. Okay. If I just touch the easy button here, you know, all MCS is doing is letting you do one finger, and it'll play a whole chord for you with the bass, with all the notes in between. If I add MCS plus, it turns you into a professional jazz musician, where if you've ever heard of things like 6 chords and 9th chords and flat 5, 11, 12, 13, now it adds those for you automatically. So rather than have just one C chord, I turn on one button, and it turns every chord into that I play into a professional sounding chord. And now any song I play is just going to sound a little bit more rich, like someone. So it adds so much depth to just one chord. All I'm doing is one note. If you add other notes on your own, I know we have some people here who maybe play several finger chords on their own. Maybe they think, well, I don't know if I need that. What's great is it still adds the extra notes that you're not playing. That'll kind of fill in a sound. Even if I play a full C chord rather than the one finger, it's still adding those extra notes. So it adds a lot of depth and color to no matter what you play. And I'm just going to keep it on and play a couple things. I'm going to use, we have what are called category setups, and I think most of you have a feature similar to this here. What's nice is right when I touch it, I get my trusty touch screen.
Gene and Jerry Cooper from Sun City West.
What's that, Robert?
Sorry.
That's okay. But we have on our screen all of our categories of sounds, and they add some of my favorites in here. I've got several pages of different sounds. And all it's doing is it's taking whatever I pick, like let's do something like love songs. I love ooey gooey love songs. And what it's doing is when I turn that on, right in your setups in the center here where you have numbers on this instrument 1 through 10, and our 0 position, of course, we have all sorts of good sounds to go with a love song. And I can play it with some rhythms. I can play it without. I'm going to just play it without and see how it sounds. And in addition to this, with our touch screen, now if I touch my button over here, I've got a little button. It says number 3, custom number 3, because you can change the features that they do. And it automatically gives me a list here. I love this. It makes it way easier, of every sound that's in my numbers now. And I can use this anytime. If I'm using a rhythm or if I'm using a category of sounds here, it'll tell me what's on each number. So if I go to number 3 here, I know what to expect. If I go to number 4, I know that I'm going to have 2 violins, and then it says slash, because that's telling me a cello is going to be on the bottom. And it's specific, so it's not like some instruments in the past would just say piano. You know, I get piano with delayed strings, you know. So I'm going to play through some of these and just show you how pretty they are. I'm just going to play some random songs and see what happens. Just beautiful, lush, pretty sounds. My favorite one is that number 2. It gives me a really nice alto saxophone on the bottom, which is just dreamy. Just really pretty stuff. So let's wake you guys back up. I'm going to play some contemporary styles of music. They add a lot of cool sounds to this, which aren't just, more Glenn Miller. You've got a lot of that going on. You got a lot of big band and swing. They add some stuff from even the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. They have something by Miami Sound Machine. They have a few different rhythms thrown into here. And by the way, I was going to show this earlier, but I forgot to. But if I look at all the different styles in this instrument, there are loads and loads and loads. You've got 286 different rhythms to choose from, which is quite a lot. And actually, what's nice is you might have heard of an instrument called the Patriot, which is one of the top-of-the-line $70-something thousand, which this is not, 70,000, so that's good. But it is the same amount of rhythms as a Patriot. Believe it or not, it's just in a smaller, comfortable size. So I'm going to play one of these more contemporary ones just for fun. This is like a nice contemporary Latin style. So let's have some fun with this here. Ready to go? Here we go. Very cool. Very cool. A lot of fun. Oh, and also, if anybody saw my concert the other day, as like a week or two ago now, I used another contemporary rhythm just for fun because I didn't even know this was really in there, and not everybody uses it. It's called 16-beat standard, which means the drums go in a 16-beat, which is 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2, like that sort of stuff. But I played a George Michael song, and it's already set up for you, basically, right when you start. So I'm just going to... Basically, you have music from pretty much every genre you could ask for. It makes it easier because you can find everything on the screen with just a touch of a button. Touch what style of music you want, and you have a whole page of different rhythms. And with so many rhythms, what happens when you have some favorites and maybe you forget where they are? Because there are so many, right? They add a button, one of my favorites again, called Favorites, where when I touch it, it gives me a list of my favorite styles. Well, how did they get there? I put them there, and I saved them, and they won't go away. I know this says go away, but they won't go away. So what happens is if I like a rhythm so much and I don't want to lose it, I can save it in my favorites. So I can say one of my favorite styles is Gypsy Rag, which is one of my favorites. I can put Gypsy Rag in my favorites, and I don't have to remember what button it's in. I just touch favorites, and there comes my list, and it just stays there. It won't, even if you turn off the instrument or reset, they just stay there. They don't go away. So everything in here is just designed to make it easier for you and have that sort of comfort knowing I can sound the way I want to. So let's go back to that ballad one because I saw a rhythm I like a lot. And this one is another signature style that features one of my favorite trumpet players. His name's Louis Armstrong. And it's called Dream Kiss, which is for a kiss to build a dream on. Just a nice little swing rhythm featuring Louis Armstrong. And I'm going to touch my button over here. That gives me all the different sound choices right there. And I'm just going to kind of go through a few of them and see what happens here. Let's start. Louis Armstrong, Kiss to Build a Dream On. I love that. And as you could see when I started, I had all these different sounds on the screen, and one of them says TRP, short for trumpet. And that's not only just a trumpet, it's actually Louis Armstrong's trumpet. They use what's called sampling, if you've heard of that, where they take it right from the record, and it's actually Louis Armstrong's sound. So lots of good stuff in here. Any questions on anything I've talked about? Some people I see looking at me funny here. Oh, no, that's Jerome. He just looks like that. That's right. Any questions or anything I've talked about that you're curious or anything like that? Nothing. Cool. I guess that's good. That's probably good. But I'm going to play one more song here, and I hope you enjoyed just kind of touring the instrument here with me and just let me play for a bit. Because, like I said, this is one of those instruments I could just sit at and play all day. You know, if I get bored and want to play some music, I can press a couple buttons, easy to use, and any choice I want to do, and I can customize, and I like making things my own. So I'll just play one more tune, and then we'll close out. So stick around. I think Robert has a couple of announcements as well before we cut out of here. So let me play one song here. Let's see. I'm going to do this one here.
Sean, is this your final number?
It was going to be, but I can play two if you want me to, you know.
Well, play a song, and then I'll do an announcement, and then you can play another final song.
Ooh, goody. Okay, cool.
That way we get two finales.
I'm going to play a song that I just realized I don't know what button it's in, so what am I going to do? I'm going to use my keypad. and the song is called Stand By Me. So I'm going to go to my S's, Stand By Me. You can see it on the screen and just touch it, and now I don't have to do nothing. So I'm going to play the song, and I might throughout hit the drum variation on or the alter style and listen for some changes here. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. I used a fade out. Isn't that cool?
Oh.
You can actually use a fade out with this. There's a button. Love it. Forgot
That was
that.
great. Very, very fancy.
I'm easily excited.
Yeah, I got something to show. I was listening, and you asked me the question about the Lowry Inspire song setup. I had to go look that up because I remember it was more than 300 or 400. I didn't know the right number. And then I found this. I'm going to screen share it. And I found this that had a kind of like just a quick snapshot of some of the stuff. The Lowry Inspire. You didn't talk about wah-wah. You can record all your songs to MP. The favorite musical styles buttons. There's the Fake It Plus. The screen is actually a high resolution. You mentioned your MCS Plus. The wah-wah is a cool feature, by the way. It actually turns your expression pedal into a wah-wah pedal, which allows you to get true wah effects like the muted trumpets. And what's cool about that is when you activate it, the volume no longer is impacted. A lot of people have trouble with the glide because they have to keep your foot on there. Now you can actually get a true wah effect on the instruments. But check this out. I won't read them all, but this is all the things when this instrument was introduced, what was so impressive about it and still is. High resolution screen, the vintage presets, the MCS, the Fake It Plus, the favorites musical style wah-wah. It's got the pedal magic, which is basically a one-touch setup, which is a magic on the pedals, a new category setups, organ tabs, presets, organ, or a new count and feature in the silver touch bar, upper and lower balance controls, USB, MSB. I feel like I'm talking real fast on one of those infomercials. But you can see all the 286 styles, the tap tempos on there, 600 song setups, et cetera, 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 et cetera. So that's really cool, and I just thought I'd share that. But before you play your last number, I do want to tell everybody kind of an opportunity in a roundabout way, and that is, as many of you know, or and I've spoken to many over time, and you've heard it through the grapevine, or you've heard it through your local dealer or your local friends. It's all over the world. But about 2 years ago, Lowry or Kawai made the decision to exit the organ business and no longer produce Lowry organs. And the neat thing about that is they're still a public company and obligated. And so the Inspire is the last series that was new. It holds the last of their newest technology. But here's what happened. As the Arias and the Grand Marquis and those high-end models sold and no longer available, and we produced all of those trades, now we've had for a while, we've had a lot of those trades that we've had. Now the Inspire is right up there amongst the Symphony, and I would say the Prestige in that area as the top of the line models that we have available. The downside is they're not available in large quantity. I did a little check on our inventory. We actually have a total of 4 Inspires in our entire company available. So what happens is as those instruments are sold, then it makes it even harder for us to acquire those trades because you have to have a high-end organ to do it. The only models that a lot of people trade the Inspire in on or is a Marquis or a Grand Marquis or something of that magnitude, which you can't get. So what's happening is the Inspire is officially becoming an extremely limited edition product with only just 4 available at Fletcher Music Centers, and they're becoming very challenging to get. So my encouragement is if it's something you like or you want to learn more about, I would definitely reach out to one of your staff members and find out, because once these 4 are sold, we no longer have them available, and it then becomes a little more challenging to acquire one. It's a phenomenal product. It's basically got the Aria engine. Believe it or not, people don't know this, but the Marquis has got over 16 microprocessors. The Inspire has the same. So just to kind of give you an idea of how closely related they are as far as what they can do. So with that said, I'm going to leave that to turn it over to Sean, and you can play your final number. And thank you for joining us today, and let's see what that instrument really can do using some of the features you showed us, Sean.
I'm going to try to play a song that I've never played before, but I hear all the other artists do it, and now I want to do it because it's actually one of the new rhythms from the Patriot that they put on here as well. And luckily I have the music. I have a Inspire songbook here, so I'm going to play The Circle of Life. This was featured in the movie Lion King and was very popular at the time. I think Elton John did this song. So I'm going to try playing this. This is really cool because it's the only rhythm I've heard, I think, that has kind of an African type style. So you'll hear some tribal drums in the background and all sorts of cool stuff, and a flute on the top. So let's see if I don't mess it up, and I can show you my favorite instrument here. Here we go. Wow, big sound. I don't know if you could tell online or not, but it's a really, really boomy sound. If you have the nice speakers, and I see Ronald with the headphones, I bet that sounded good.
Yeah.
All
I love
right.
it.
Well, thanks for coming, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it and got a good idea, good a taste what this thing can do.
Well, big round of applause for Mr. Sean Maloney, everybody. Big round of
Very good,
applause.
very good.
Woohoo!
Thank you, thank you.
I really like your version of Lion King, okay? I've
Oh.
heard Lion King come from that store quite a few times. Really like your version.
Yeah, I've never played it before, so just the music's pretty easy, so try it at home.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Reach out to your staff members. Get them while you can. There's only about 3 or 4 left. So, toodaloo. Take care and stay safe
I'll call you,
and
okay?
keep playing music.
Yep. Thank you.